and welcome to HBCU 101.
I had all them no's, but I got that one I didn't give up.
Salmon's in the building.
Drum major for Morehouse's House of Funk.
Welcome to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jaleel Thurman. HBCU 101 is a show that will take you all over the nation, give you the ins and outs of HBCUs, with a little taste of the HBCU flavor. On today's episode, we sit down with a Bowie State University alumna. But before we get into that, let's check out our HBCU news and see what's buzzing in our community.
Jaleel, you know how sometimes you tell me say less when something is big, i.e. say no more? Well, how about this for a say no more moment? Deion Primetime Sanders is the new head football coach at Jackson State. Man, say less. This is a really big story. We're following it in real time at HBCUGameDay.com. This is huge for Jackson State, the SWAC, and Black college football. Say less. Prime time.
Those that went to college with her know her for leading the pack as SGA president, while others know her for having such notable clients like Danny J from Black Ink Crew of Chicago. HBCU 101 would like to welcome Bowie State University alumna, public speaker, entrepreneur, and CEO and founder of U Management Strategic Communications and Public Relations Agency, Miss Milan Mobley.
You're so silly. Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Milan? What's up? How are you? I've
been waiting. I've been waiting for this. So, this is an honor. So thank you to be on such a large and notable platform. So thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. Now let's get into it. Milan, you from Washington, D.C., right?
Yes.
However, your HBCU journey is a little unique. You actually started off at Bethune-Cookman, but then you made your way back to the DMV to Bowie State.
I was only, 18 years old. So, ideally, you want to go to those big schools. You don't really consider the smaller HBCUs. So you're thinking of the Howards, the Bethune-Cookmans, the Bellman, schools like that, FAMU's a big name. You're not thinking of the smaller schools. So for me, I'm like, if I go back home, I don't really want to go to a small HBCU. I don't know anything about that. I'm coming back home. I don't want to be somewhere that, one, is down the street from my mom's house. Two, nobody really knows. And three, Siri can't even pronounce it Bowie State. She says Bowie. So why would I want to go there, right? So this is, again, 18-year-old me thinking this. It was not even my choice. I just happened to fall into it because it was one of the cheaper options out of all the HBCUs in Maryland. Bowie State has the lowest tuition, especially for in-state students. So ideally, of course, now breaking into, getting older, I'm 18. I'm like, okay, well, at the end of this, I don't want to have large debt, especially not from undergrad when I want to keep climbing the ladder of getting my education. So Bowie just happened to fall in that when it came to price range. Now, of course, my thinking from 18 to graduating at 21 was completely different, but initially that was the thought process behind it.
Let's talk about your experience. Walk me through the 4 years in Bowie State, or 3 years.
Okay. Okay. So I came in with 2012. It was the fall of 2012. I got there. Like I said, I am just over it. I'm like, I don't want to be here. This is not Bethune-Cookman. Where is the quad? Where is this? I'm just really doing that comparison, the compare and contrast type of thing. So I'm just super not happy. So I started meeting different people and they're like, listen, you're going to love Bowie. You just got to start meeting people. Just as well as you met people at Bethune-Cookman and you fell in love with that, you have to do the same thing. Correct. So being open-minded, I'm like, okay, well, if you put me in the right direction, just show me, you know me, all I need is a door. Show me the door, I'm gonna go in and I got the rest. So they took me to the SGA office. There was so many people in there. They ended up introducing me to the marketing director. His name is Preston France. So shout out to Preston. So he was like, yeah, what do you do? What do you know how to do? So I ended up telling him all of my skill sets. And he's like, well, I want to bring you onto my team under SGA as grassroots. So I'm like, boom, okay, cool. So after that, everything just started unfolding. I started really enjoying myself. We did great campaigns with the marketing team and things just started escalating. So now here we are in my junior year. Sophomore year was great. I spent my time in the vet, spent my time really just learning the campus, really just making friends and just building up that rapport as far as feeling comfortable for myself. We all know transferring school is a headache. So I had no intentions after that to transfer again.
Right.
So here we are, junior year, everything is just going phenomenal. Of course, at the end of sophomore year, I ended up becoming junior class president, a RA, vice president of communications for the sports management club. I was the public relations coordinator for the Student Alumni Association. Like the list literally went on. Like everything literally just came tenfold. And I had so much on my plate, but I was super grateful. 18 credit hours, booked and busy junior year. Of course, in that same year, fall 13, I ended up becoming a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So shout out to my wonderful immaculate sorority for just molding me into the woman I am today, because that was really like the stepping stone and the push that I needed just to continue on. So senior year comes around, boom, SJ president.
Right.
I'm SJ president, 18 credit hours still, interning at ESPN, still working at the government on different type of breaks, summer break, winter break, all those amazing things. I'm like at the peak that I really wanted to be at transitioning through college, because I had been through so many different avenues of leadership, so many different roles that just really added on to where I wanted to go in the future. So that's 4 years in a nutshell, from just leadership, making friends, hating the university that I originally did not even want to come to being in love with it. And I, like, even when I talk about Bowie to this day, I sometimes get choked up just knowing like how much love I could have for an institution just based off the people, the administration, the work that we did. Like, I get chills just talking about it. Like, I'm about to cry right now because I had such you're a former SJ president, so you know the work and love that you have for your institution, especially being in that role, and that it carries on after that.
But while you was at Bowie, you studied public relations, and that's what I really want to dive into, because that's what you're doing now as a full-time entrepreneur. But we'll do that when we come back from the break. It's HBCU 101. This is Jalil Thurman, Miss Milan Mobley. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
And welcome back to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jalil Thurman, and I have the pleasure of having Bowie State University in the building. Miss Milan Mobley. Milan, now before we get into your career, the start, I got a little HBCU trivia for you. There's 2 HBCUs in the state of Virginia that I'll need you to give me answers. First, what HBCU is known as Big State, and what HBCU is known as Little State?
That is going to say this is not fair. I went to school in Bowie and in Daytona Beach. So okay, I'm from the DMV, I got this. Okay, so Big State, Little State. Okay, Big State is Virginia State University, because you went there and you never let me forget it's Hale State. So I will never forget that. So that's Big State. Little State is Norfolk State University, because my friend Tyler Jackson went to Norfolk and she was a transfer at the same time I was from Bowie. So yeah.
That is correct. A lot of people don't know Norfolk State is actually an extension of Virginia State when it was first founded back in the day. And even though now Norfolk is bigger, it's still known as Little State. Okay, but enough of the trivia.
Okay.
Milan, you studied public relations while you were at Bowie State. Mm-hmm. Now, when and where did you find your passion for public relations, and how has your career blossomed since then?
Of course, I found my passion at Bethune-Cookman. Is where I started. So I actually, and this is going to be a very brief story because it can be very extended, I thought that I wanted to do journalism, right? So I was like, oh, that's writing is great. So that's what I entered in as. Okay, we're in mass communications class. We had like a professional seminar every Friday. So we're in there and they're like, okay, broadcast journalism, this, that, and the third, like just putting people in their direction. So I heard journalism. I completely missed the broadcast part. So I head over to broadcast journalism and I'm like, okay, yeah. So he has us go around, the director, do our elevator pitch. He told us what it was, 30 seconds, deliver yourself, who you are. So of course, everybody went around. He literally says, and I will never forget this because that's when I kind of felt like I had a strong presence. Like I felt like that breaking shell moment that you really identify in yourself. Like other people can tell you, but you really identify in yourself. So he's like, I only remember 2 people right here. That's such and such and Milan Mobley. But he was like, Milan, you're going to be on FM radio and you're going to be on da-da-da. So I'm like, I'm on FM who? FM what? So in my mind, I'm just like freaking out. But you know, on the outer layer, I'm like, okay, I can do this. But I'm like freaking out. So they ended up partnering with somebody who's teaching me like the ins and outs of radio, how to record, all those great things. Funny story, I actually did the voiceover for one of the Alpha's songs during the step show on that same system that I learned, right? So I'm AKA so funny, did it for the alphas, haha, joke, right? So that wasn't even the breaking point. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is my thing. The freshman class board was looking for a public relations coordinator, and one of my friends, she was an RA, and she said, well, I know you've been looking to get more involved on campus. Let me introduce you to the freshman class president. They're looking for a public relations coordinator. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to the e-board meeting that night. Long story short, he's giving me the rundown. He was like, can you do it? I'm like, yeah, I can. No, y'all. I had no idea what I was doing. So I gathered my things. I run back to my room. I call my mom on, this is when Uvu was around. Call my mom on Uvu. And I'm like, I have to figure this out. Like, they think that I can do PR. I don't know what this is. So my mom was like, well, you need to Google it, look on YouTube. So I'm just like pulling things. So I pulled enough to come back the next day and have a full thought out plan to deliver. Long story short, homecoming came around. The executive board tasked us with a few things that we had to put together. We ended up putting together amazing campaigns. We did a whole breast cancer awareness campaign, all of that. Reached out to Susan G. Komen, like to the 10, like did my job to the fullest. And when I realized I was actually acting as a publicist, a public relations professional, I was like, this is what they do. I love it. Like, I love every moment of it. I love the pressure of it, the hype of it, the result from it, and just seeing everyone's response from it was like amazing. So I was like, no, forget journalism, broadcast, whatever. This is what I want to do. And after that, that's where it came from.
Okay, and then you just took your talents to Bowie State. Then you
Bowie State.
And then you graduated, and then you started your company. At first it was you management PR, and now it's you management, strategic communications and public relations agency. Let's talk about some of that journey and some of your notable clients that you've had along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. The journey has been phenomenal. We hit 5 years, July 20th, 2020. So my little baby that started in my bedroom at 3:00 in the morning is now a full functioning agency 5 years later. So all praise to the Most Highest, because without him, none of this would have been possible. So I'm just grateful every day for it. Leading into the journey, like I said, it starts at 3:00 in the morning. When I tell people this, their mouths will drop because they don't believe me. Like, God woke me up out my sleep, in my good sleep, y'all, at that moment. And I'm like, I need to start my company. Everyone knows we have this idea that at the age of 25, your life takes off, right? I'm pretty sure everybody's head is on right now, because at 25, you're supposed to be married, kids, making $1 million, driving a race, everything, right? All of that. No, that wasn't the case. 21 years old, almost 22, I wake up, I'm like, I need to start my company today. I'm fresh out of undergrad. I call my NCNW sister on the phone. She literally stays up with me until it's time for us to go to work. We both work at the government, just in different departments. I did the website myself. I did my EIN, my articles of organization, everything that you could think of that a business needed. I learned how to do it just so I can get that done. So I can have a full functioning company. What was that? 2015, 2016, Yard Talk 101 became my client. HBCU Pride Nation became my client. Pretty V. So many of you know her as Pretty V. I know her as Vina XL. So shout out to Pretty V. Was my client. Douglas McNeil at the time, he played for the Seattle Seahawks. Stevie Boy, he designed for Lady Gaga, Madonna, Beyonce, all the greats that you could probably think of. He designed for them. So I did New York Fashion Week with him. Danny J, Black Ink Crew Chicago. I helped her with 2 of her fashion shows. So if you've seen the fashion show when you watch Black Ink Crew, that was a product of ours that we work with. Ooh, Carolyn Jarius here in Atlanta, Georgia. One of my clients. They were the first gay couple to be on the reboot of White Swap. I know y'all remember White Swap from years ago. It came back last year. They were the first gay couple to appear on there, and they're super, super popular for their YouTube channel and Instagram. Chris Williams, he's the youngest African-American male to own the Subway franchise in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, the list literally goes on, but I'm just so grateful because all of these people literally have contributed so much to my growth.
Well, what's also unique about you is that you like to give back, and you have a group of mentees and a group of people that you like to mentor. And I would love to dive into that and what made you do that, but we'll do that after the commercial break. It's HBCU 101. It's Milan Mobley. It's Jalil Thurman. Stay tuned.
Did you know that the first presidents of North Carolina Central University, Fayetteville State University, North Carolina A&T State University, Elizabeth City State University, and the founder of Livingstone College all studied at Shaw University?
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
I am Jalil Thurman. I have Milan Mobley here with me. Milan, your career has blossomed. but what is really special is the fact that you've been giving back.
Ooh, that's one of my favorite things about being in the positions I'm in, really using that influence to drive the change for a lot of young entrepreneurs and just teens, youth, whomever, even people older than me. Like, I'm all for just being able to provide where I can. Like, I don't have this big head for nothing. Like, all this knowledge should not be stored in and not given to everyone. So in short, 2020 now? 2017, I actually started the One Wish Prom Drive. So the One Wish Prom Drive, we come into 2 seniors' lives and just cover their entire prom. So I partner with different entrepreneurs, businesses, whomever, and they'll provide either a service or a piece of clothing. So 2017, I partnered with a lot of people that went to Bowie State University. So one young lady, she did the nails and the hair. My predecessor, which is also one of my closest friends, Richard Lee Lucas III, he gave a suit to the gentleman. One of my profiles connected me with her friend. He cut his hair. So we just get in and really tap into those individuals' lives and just cover their prom. So it is requirements that you have to meet, of course. Like, we're not just going to just come in and you're like not interested in the program, but we really want to come into those that are, really in need of help and then really have the risk of not going to prom. I think we've all been there where we know somebody that may have not been able to go to prom or they didn't have the funds or whatever the case was. So I just want to lift that burden as much as possible, especially being so that, we can. So that's one entity of just giving back that I truly love. The second part is I recently started the Becoming a Publicist cohort. Ooh, the classroom has not failed us, but they did inform us of a lot of things the public relations industry can bring. And when you get there, you're kind of stuck because you thought this degree was everything and that was the end all be all. And that's not the case. So with the Becoming a Publicist cohort, we're teaching you what the classroom won't. So you're basically learning from some of the top producing professionals in the industry. So that can be whether you're in school now, you graduated, or you just have an interest in PR. So it's basically receiving a certificate of completion on top of whatever knowledge you already have. So you're going to get that real life experience.
Now, what is next for Milan Mobley?
Oh, what is next? That is a great question. So, I've been really tapping into the multiple streams of income conversation. Like, that has been really, really big on my heart, especially since the start of the pandemic. And this is a complete transparency moment. Everything was not okay, guys. Like, make sure you check on your friends because this friend was not okay. Your bossiest friend was not okay in the beginning. Like, business slowed down. It was like really that thought, like, wow, like it really shows you have to tap into different industries. You really have to have other additional things working for you because business may not be able to sustain. Look at some of the top companies that you love, New York and Company, Neiman Marcus. A lot of those stores had to close down. Victoria's Secret. I used to work at Victoria's Secret in undergrad and we were bringing in millions a day almost, but those stores have closed down. So in turn, my girlfriend introduced me to the foreign exchange market. I've become a Forex trader. I've invested in stock. I've invested in an online savings account that has a high APY working for me. So I've invested in systems that have started working for me. So next up, and just really tapping into it deeper, is becoming that coach to others in that financial space. So that's my next road in the journey.
Okay. You're constantly lifting as you climb, and I can appreciate that. Now, before we let you go, we're going to play a game. Yeah. It's called I Got 5 on It. All right. Now, I got 5 on it. Is a this or that in which you pick who or what you have 5 on. All right. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So let's do this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're going to talk Louisiana. We're going to talk tailgates. We're going to talk homecoming. Who do you have 5 on? Southern University or Grambling State University? Who you got 5?
Ooh, okay. I got 5 on Southern just because Southern band, the dancers, they be lit. It's lit. And I have friends that went to Southern, so I know how lit it is. So I got 5 on Southern.
You taking the human jukebox. I got you.
Yes.
Now, let's take you to Maryland, right? Outside of Bowie State, if you had to go with the littest yard, would you go with University of Maryland Eastern Shore or would you go with Coppin State University?
That's not fair. Ooh, I thought you were going to give me, I thought I was going to get a curveball. Okay. I'm going to have to go with UMES. I gotta go UMS. I got to on UMS.
Okay. Now UMS is unique because their homecoming is in like February, so that's always different. So I'm sure their yard is wild.
And so it's popping.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that is true. No football team. All right, Milan. Before you go, can you please let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Milan Mobley. That's TheeMilanMobley. And on LinkedIn and Facebook at Milan Mobley.
Oh, check that. Listen, it's HBCU 101. It's Milan. It's Jalil. Stay tuned.
Today's HBCU Wall Street 101's financial tips are: 1, create a budget and revise it as necessary. 2, you do not need to have a lot of money to start investing. And 3, consider large purchases for at least 24 hours before committing.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Today's Webrum Spotlight is Tahir Murray, aka Mr. Legacy, class of 2021 Howard University. Legacy History Pride is a collegiate lifestyle brand that designs and develops products that embody HBCUs and the Black culture. They are a licensed vendor that uses their platform to awaken a sense of pride by carefully designing, tailoring products that invoke the richness and uniqueness synonymous to the culture whose foundation we stand upon. If you know someone who should be featured on the Webrum Spotlight, please email us at info@hbcu101.com.
And that's it for today's episode of HBCU 101. I would like to send a special thank you to Miss Milan Mobley. We talked Bowie State, we talked SGA, we talked entrepreneurship, we just talked the whole 9. For the entire crew, I am your host, Jalil Thurman, and I'll see you next week.